Today we're going to look at the all-natural fatwood fire starters. If you're unable to harvest your own fatwood from a felled pine, pine stump, or even the dead reachable branches of a pine tree, this is a great alternative, especially for the urban dwellers who are not typically exposed to this natural resource. So let's get started with processing your fire kit. So I'm going to take this piece that I already cut in half, and I'm going to just measure it by eye and fit it into this tin. So we're going to cut that piece off, or I'm going to cut that piece off. And I'm going to use my Victorinox, my little saw here, to do that. It's going to be a little awkward because it's a small piece, but use what you can when you're out processing stuff. Cut this, and then I'll break that little piece off after I've cut into it enough. It's a little awkward. Now that I've broken it in half, let's see if this little piece fits, which it should. I take all this stuff here, all these little bits that I get from either sawing or scraping, I'm going to put in this bag because this stuff is ignitable. It's all fat wood. It's turpentine from the pine. And it all ignites. It's a great source. So as we go along, I'm going to be putting that stuff in that little bag. For now, let's take our two halves and make sure that they fit nice in there. That one fits. So does that one. All right, so we're going to take a piece, put it aside, and this piece here, I'm going to scrape the back with my, I'm going to take this piece here, I'm going to hold on to that. That's going to be great. I'll do a little batoning on that piece to make a little tinder, but for now I'm going to use this knife here. I'm going to take the spine of my knife, and I'm going to scrape more of those little pieces, like I had from the saw blade, all that fluffy stuff. I'm gonna take some off of this too. You can see that it fluffs up really nice. It comes right off with I have a very sharp 90-degree spine on this knife. Look at that. That's all resin from the natural pine, all that sap.
Early sun and the biggest sky grieves hills that I have ever.
I'm just going to grab a little bit more of that. That in the baggie, and then I'm going to turn this into a tiny feather stick.
Early sun and the biggest sky grieves hills that I have ever seen. These old stone walls and the ones they're holding, the only place I wanna be.
So there, I got some more shavings. I'm gonna do a little bit more. Now remember, ideally in any other situation, you want a larger stick to shave a lot more shavings from. But in this scenario, I'm just creating a small kit that will help me if I can't find anything when I'm out in the woods. If I get lost and all of a sudden I have this feeling like, it's late, the weather's changing, I want to be here for the night, I need to create a fire. At least I have a little something on me. I'm ahead of, unfortunately, some other people that have not done that. So I think that's good. Gonna get ready to create a feather stick for you, and You do that by just doing these shaves. Make these little notches in it. And this is a fat wood, so it's got a lot of pine sap in it, so it's a little bit sticky. So unfortunately, it digs in. It's not like a clean cut like you would get with a soft maple, where you could, and you also can't get the leverage with this that you do with a larger stick. But you just feather it like this. See? Just keep feathering, go around it. Grab the edges, cut down. Any of the small pieces that fall off, any of those curls, I put back in that baggie. They're ignitable, so don't waste anything. And just work my way up as far as I can and try to get each side. And all these little pieces that fall off, those are all going to go into that baggie too. You're always going to have little curls that are going to come off. It's just the nature of the beast. But don't throw those away. Don't swipe them off the ground into the dirt. Hold on to them. Put them in the baggie. See all these little bits here? Those are all going into this bag. Right with the rest of the scrapings. Just going to do a few more little feathers here. There's not much you can do with this tiny little piece of fat wood, but you know what? This is going to create a fire. And if you need it, you're going to be glad to have it.
Early sun and the biggest sky.
Now what I'm doing here is I'm doing that tiny little scrapings I was telling you about. See how I'm making it tiny little scrapes? That's to get some of that fluffy bits so that when I strike that area with my ferro rod, it catches quicker. Because it catches all that fluffy stuff. You want to try to balance your ferro rod against that and strike there. And that will in turn ignite the rest of the feather stick. So that piece is done. I'm going to take all these bits, and like I said, we're going to put them in the bag.
Early sun and the biggest sky. Grief's hills that I have ever seen.
And there we go. It's quite a bit. And I'm going to pop that in there for now. Get it out of the way. See? It'll fit right in there like that. And you have room for the other stuff, which I am going to baton. I'm going to use my knife. And, I don't ever typically use the back of my Victorinox, but it's small. Look, I can push right into it. I'm barely even batoning with the back of my knife. I would never do this with a larger log piece of wood or anything like that. I would use another thicker branch to baton with, but because it's such a tiny little thing and I'm making pencil lead thick pieces of fat wood tinder, I'm not gonna cry over this Victorinox. I'm not abusing it, don't worry. See all these nice little pieces. Once you get your feather stick lit, you can start putting this stuff on it. Once you have a sustainable fire, then you can start putting your larger pieces on. I'm going to continue processing, and then I'll be back.
Early sun and the biggest sky.
So now I have my smaller pile here, and I'm going to put that in with the little baggie, and I have my longer ones for the kit. These will all eventually make it into a kit, but for right now I'm going to put these smaller pieces that I took from that other, and then other ones that broke along the way. I'm just going to pop them in this baggie with the other tinder, fluffy shavings, and set those aside. So now we have these in a bag. Those, like I said, we're going to put these aside. And I will go ahead and start packing up some of the longer kindling. These are like a little bit more than pencil lead, but again, they've got the sap, so they're going to ignite. You see how many I can fit into this tin. And I still want to have some room left in the tin because I do like to put other parts in there, but I want to put the small ferro rod in there, and I want to put a striker in there as well. And I may want to put a couple of fire plugs in there for wet weather, even though the fat wood should light in wet weather. Sometimes there's a struggle, let's be real. I also have this little ferro rod that came with this knife. It's a great little ferro rod. It's you got to work with these things with your thumb, push them to get a spark. So they're very small. I prefer the larger ones, but and this one is not going in the kit because the little piece of wood on the end is it's makes it too long to fit in the kit. But anyway, I want to light that small fluffy tinder to show you how well it does ignite.
Early sun and the biggest sky grieves hills that I have ever seen. These old stone walls.
So there you have it. It lights. You can get a fire going. These things are amazing. Get yourself some. It's great backup in your kit. Hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you thought of this video. Get outside.